So every so often, you have an encounter in life that totally changes the way that you see anything, or you meet people or a group of people or an institution that makes you think of the world differently and makes you want to do better and become a better human being. Without a doubt, thanks. Without a doubt, Libawi School is one of those schools. I have been touched, my heart has been changed, and I think that Africa can learn a lot about what is happening at this school. So let's go inside and have a conversation and have a tour. Your life is going to be changed, as will your heart.
When we were in Seattle, Hatziandreas, the founder, who works for the Gates Foundation, kind of assembled a bunch of us, and one of the first things we did was we formed a board and all that stuff, but we had a curriculum team that looked at Ethiopian curriculum since 1917, which is when modern education was really introduced in Ethiopia.
Okay.
And in our study, what we found was a huge gap. And that gap is we couldn't find any time in modern educational history in Ethiopia whereby curriculum was purposely designed to have an Ethiopian foundation. We were convinced that most of the problems that we have in Ethiopia have something to do with the fact that we're disconnected from ourselves, right? So we decided the school that we end up opening has to be locally robust, but that's not enough. It has to also be globally connected. So here it says locally robust, globally connected. ኢትዮጵያዊነት ላይ የተመሰረተ ዓለም አቀፍ አስተሳሰብ. So we feel that we're closing a gap. So I'm Ethiopian, you're Ethiopian. I assume you're Ethiopian, right? But if I asked you, what does that mean? There's a certain gap, Our soul kind of knows that there's a gap. So we're trying to kind of bridge that gap and retrieve, analyze, discover, uncover what's basically African and Ethiopian at base and make it relevant to the contemporary world.
Thank you very much for joining us on Africa Connected. Just the tour of the school. I thought I had all these questions. I thought I understood what this school was about until I actually went to the tour and I found out, just the heart of it. Panos, if we could start with you, setting a strategy for the school in a country like Ethiopia and how you feel the rest of Africa can learn from what you're doing in the school.
We do have a Pan-African vision.
Okay.
And what do we mean by that? When we started the school, we had a sense of regret, a sense of determination to change the narrative about Africa. Most of us who are in the West, particularly in the States, were not very pleased with how Africa was continually being portrayed as a continent where civil war and poverty prevail and nothing else happens in Africa. So we decided, under the leadership of Hatziandreas, who's the founder, to create a special school to change the narrative about Africa through academia and through the next generation, right? So it's a 50-year plan. We're just planting the seed. The students are the ones that are going to actually do the work.
My name is Fatuma. I just finished 12th grade this year from ILAE Academy. And I'll be joining Kenyon College in Ohio. So we kind of make really small changes, and you know what? It's the small changes that really make effect in our societies, and we kind of create ripple effects. So now other schools also want to kind of, have, autism awareness, we want to have this club, come teach us about this. So I think I was being given opportunities to experience by myself, dive into the water by myself and see what I can do. And so it's also on the idea of what we call Ubuntu, I am because you are. So not only I exist because I am a person in Ethiopia, but also there's another person who exists in Ukraine or Iran or somewhere else. So I think the opportunities that the school gave me was to think by myself. They gave me the instruments, but I did the thinking by myself.
My name is Berkat Tasfay. I'm 10th grade. So it's 10th grade, and I'm the vice president in the school. So what I love about Libawi Academy, I learn in Libawi Academy, and what I love about this school is that it's like it taught me how to deal with the diversity, because it's like people in here come from different places, different abilities, and different cultures. So it's like integrating different things and working as a team was one of the things that I faced in here, and that was so amazing. It's like I have seen lots of people who have different abilities. It's like with the inclusive activities that we do in here. So I learned that it's like doing together as one. It's one of the major things that our world is having difficulties with. So it helps me to recognize that at this very young age, and that is one of the leadership qualities that I've gotten. And in addition to that is like most of the school curriculums in Ethiopia and most of African countries is mostly westernized, so because of the globalization and other reasons. So in that case, it makes you think that what did Africa do, and what is the history about us, and is there something good that can be gotten from Africa? It's like, am I able to do that? Because there are lots of things that we hear from this effect of westernization. And from that, I've listened that I'm an Ethiopian, and there are lots of different things that people have done in Africa and in Ethiopia. And one of the things that I like about is that there is different lecture series where we meet different people who successful people, and they come in here and we ask them questions. They talk about their fields, their life experience, and when I see that, it's like I believe that there's something that can be gotten, not being westernized, but being an African, and that is something that I love and learn in Labawi Academy. For me, I believe that I will be one of the influential people in the world in the future. And I hope to not to just learn, but help the people next to me. It's like that is one of the things that is making me an African, because in Africa we are not individualists, or we don't believe in, it's like I don't grow by myself and just live, but I live not because of me, but I live because the reason is that the next person lives also. So for me, I want to help the people that are next to me.